okay with that.
All right, we'll call the Vigo County Parks and Recreation Board meeting to order, Monday, December 21st. And we'll start with roll call.
Jeff Fisher, Eddie Adams, Abby Desborough,
Here.
Aaron Gadberry, Donna Griffin,
Here.
Joe Newton, Tabby Flynn.
Here. All right, we'll start with call for agenda additions or corrections.
None.
Okay. Approval of November, December claims. We'll entertain if anybody has any questions. I had a question on the edit. I'm sure it's probably something that we've talked about. David Beckus
Yeah.
for the 12,000. Which contract was
About
that?
one.
Yeah, that's for the re-roofing of,
Okay.
that's the second half of the barn and grist mill.
That's how we get billed through Rural King, probably.
Rural
Yeah.
King.
Yeah. Yeah, that one always looks weird. There he is. We saved a seat for you. Yep. Oh, you're all right. It's only 2 minutes. We're already started. We're into approval of claims. It don't matter to me, as long as we get done.
All right. Entertain a motion for the claims. All right, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. Approval of November minutes and reports. I'll second. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Good to go. We're on to our comments. I'm understanding we have no public comments that were submitted before.
No,
So
ma'am.
we will move on to comments from the board. If we have none, then we'll move on to the capital improvement plan.
All right. Brian's gonna kick us off with water line update.
Just so you all remember, we have 3 water lines left in our Phase 1 water infrastructure replacement plan. So one of the 3, they just finished up at Hawthorne Park, which went from the road to Dogwood and then to Tupelo. They got a little bit of cleanup left to do, but it looks real nice. And they should have that finished up and the meter back in. Cedarville's putting the meter back in by hopefully Wednesday. Then we have the water line for the campgrounds there at Hawthorne Park and electrical. We're waiting on permits to try to finish that up, hopefully the beginning of next year here. And then the final one was Prairie Creek Park from their shop past the ball diamond, the restroom, and into the dump station. And hopefully they're going to start that here before the end of the year.
Hopefully
Yep,
Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's taking a little bit longer. I guess the contractor had some issues, so.
No. Yep.
Yeah, December 1st, we try to winterize until March 15th. That's when we open back up, so. I gotta look at my paper on the wall. But
Can I add one more thing to that? Also, I forgot, they did some concrete replacement there at Tupelo, where they put that pit in. We had some concrete that wasn't looking so well, and then the drainage on that. So when they redid all that, we had to pull the concrete out anyway, so we put some ADA-approved sidewalks back in.
Yep, looks really nice. Moving on, another project we've been talking about is a capital project for a while. Trying to widen the entrance, move the gatehouse at Hawthorne Park. One thing I wanted to seek comments from the board. It's going to be a large project. Try to figure this out. Had even kicked around whether or not we should try to pull the trigger on this year. A lot of people have been waiting on this. Functionality-wise, moving the gatehouse to the front at Hawthorne Park makes sense. You see every person that comes in. Gives us the ability to start renting items from the gatehouse because you see everybody. Otherwise, the only people you see are just the campers. The campers struggle to get in that entrance. People keep hitting the stone on either side, on either corner. It just really wasn't built for campers the size that campers are now. I think it was built more for 16-foot campers. So we've looked at this a few different ways, trying to peel back the stonework that's there on the shoulders, widening that entrance. Pretty costly, and you end up with 2 lanes. We're looking at $27,000 to $30,000 or so to widen those shoulders, and you still essentially have the same type of entrance. And now the plan B here was to actually take out that island. If you're familiar with Hawthorne Park, I forgot to print you all off a map. Familiar with that entrance, there's a large oak tree that I've been avoiding even thinking about cutting. Reality is, to widen that entrance, you're going to have to cut a couple trees anyways, and risk damaging the roots of several other trees. That oak tree's not looking real spectacular anyways. It's right in the middle. It's just a matter of time before that tree, is going to have to be cut one of these days. So looking at removing that tree in the middle, removing that island, saving some of that stonework. We talked to a contractor about cutting that where the address is in the stone, saving that piece. It's historic for us as a department, saving as much of that as we can, pushing it back, shrinking it down, and making 2 lanes as an entrance. That would alleviate, because our biggest fear of putting the gatehouse at the front is backing up traffic onto a busy road. So having 2 lanes as an ingress would really help us out tremendously there. So right now, that's strongly where we're leaning. It's also significantly less cost-wise to do that. I hate taking out an iconic tree and island there and all that stonework, but utilizing some of that stone to rebuild that little bit of an island there, pushing that back and making a much larger entrance, really would make a lot of our campers and people happy on that aspect of it. Even just deliveries, we can't get a semi in and out of that park. So we've tried, and they don't like it. But 53-foot trailers don't like the entrance. But any comments, feedback? Yeah. No, I've talked with Larry, County Highway, about there's a sign there for the crossing, caution sign, but before we move that there, making that a more significant caution. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any other thoughts? This has been months and months worth of thought and planning, and hate to plow under the island, but I think it'll make it more functional.
Sorry, I think it makes sense to move it out. I mean, that way you're getting a better understanding of the people who are utilizing the park. If the gate's all the way back there, they're not seeing everybody going to the north side of the park. So if you have them out there, they're at least seeing the amount of traffic that's coming in, and understanding what's being utilized.
You're gonna say something? If we push that back, right kind of behind where the island is current, only moved over to where the corner of the island is, only a couple feet in, so that you'd have those two lanes coming. What would we figure those are 12-foot lanes?
13 feet. It looked
13
very
feet.
similar, kind of a concept of Fowler Park, rather than a bigger scale.
With two lanes to the right-hand side of the gatehouse. Leave the gatehouse down toward the campground. I mean, that's always an option. If I were gonna widen it, I would probably rather have the gatehouse up there. If you ever wanted to charge admission for some reason, I'm not saying I'm tossing around that idea, but if you want to charge admission to the park, or the wheels really come off in the next 2 or 3 years and we want to start charging admission, we wanted to rent bikes, we want to rent kayaks and things like that. That's your central hub right there at the front of the park.
It's also easier to get information out to people coming in and out of the park.
Yeah, I think it's essential what you said, like getting the kayaks, because we don't have the beach there anymore, and we were going to try and utilize that lake area still for programming and kayaks and things like that. That makes sense.
Well, we're still trying to get our thumb on a few things this week, and I can keep you updated on that. I just want to see, are there any real adverse reaction to trying to get that project done? Is the main goal here. If half the board really despised the thought of plowing that under, then we would step back and take another thought. But yeah.
And you said that budget was 30,000?
No,
Or
the
what's-
budget to actually widen the road, take that out, make a new island, and put a couple pillars in for the new gate was about 16, 17.
Okay.
And that was with the new asphalt and everything. So we'd paint a new lane back behind to show people this is the radius you need to take when you bring your camper back out. I think it's going to help a lot of people in making that turn. So there's actually more room there once we put that gatehouse in and move it than there is at Fowler Park. And people don't have the issue with that. It doesn't seem, at least. So the gatehouse that we're looking at would be a pre-built log gatehouse, 10 by 16 with a little porch on the front. So it'd be a inviting little gatehouse with a little swing on the front, and it'd be inviting for people. No, it'd be about, what was the 6,000? About 6,000 for the pre-built. We'd have to finish it on the inside. That doesn't come with anything. But moving. If anybody has any questions, give me a call if anybody's got any questions on that or any follow-up. Moving on with other projects here. Our rental cabin's coming along. We've got walls up. We're just waiting on some timber that's being sawn by Kirkham Hardwoods. Waiting on that probably next week or so. We can start up with the roof, and it's looking good. So it's coming along. Brian probably talked to you about the caretaker's house.
Yeah, so the Fowler caretaker's house needed some improvements on it. So now our caretaker, we got a new caretaker out there, which you all know, and so it's a perfect time to try to do some work on that. Hasn't been done for a while. So we have a couple contractors look at that, and hopefully going to get a new roof on the house and the garage, and then a little bit of window work, block some windows up on the garage, some siding where that old wood is and all the paint's chipping off. Actually, right here. I'm forgetting something. A little work on the interior. I think there's 3 or 4 doors that need replaced, and some trim put up. And then the garage, doing some tuck pointing on the block walls. A lot of that mortar fell out, so just getting it where it's presentable, get some new paint and stuff put on it, just to make it more eye appeasing.
Yeah, it's needed it for a while. The caretaker's house roof is gonna need some new decking. It's soft and it's time, so. The vaults and sewer, that was another project slated for capital improvements. Fowler Park's done. They had to dig up the vault next to the gatehouse, put a new gasket in. Very hopeful that we won't have to pump that stupid thing about every week. That was, a couple $100 every other week at that point. It was filling up with groundwater. It was the going theory right now. So that'll be nice once that thing filled up and fill all the way up to the top, and then call somebody out. So it's good to get that project done. I was hoping to get one done at Prairie Creek. When they went out to do it, they figured out it was a different system. Had to call somebody else in, and we're still waiting on what they think the next best move is on that one. So we hope to know by tomorrow morning. Also moving on, if you've not been to Fowler Park, grist mill barn roofs are looking awesome. Those are 2 huge jobs done for the roofing at Fowler Park. 2 roofs that I'm not going to get on. So thankful that those are done. They'll be wrapped up, probably tomorrow or so. And those are done. So that's great to get those out of our way. Now we just got to worry about sealing those shingles. Looking at getting work done in the church roof. It's got some work to be done. It's there's parts of it getting ready to fall in. A lot of that's built with poplar poles and things that are split, and the roof's sagging. You can see it from outside. The roof's sagging. So looking to get that braced up and make sure it's good before the snow load. So, and then we talked last meeting about our roadways. Got that figured out. Chris Oakes going to come micro seal our roads at Prairie Creek Park. Take care of those. Hopefully, be nice if we get them done before May 1st, but it'll be warmer weather before we get that project done. So, unless you've got something, that's it for my capital improvements.
All right, we'll move on to old business.
All right, we do have some old business. Let me make sure I got this straight. Okay, we talked about the Lindquist property at length several times. Here in the next week, we're going to be ready to move forward with the Lindquist property. Not the Lindquist property anymore, is now owned by Wabash River Development and Beautification Riverscape. I'll be seeking a vote of approval to purchase that property here in the next couple weeks. I think the most educated vote is to use the remaining funds in our land acquisition, or under 20,000. I don't know what the most educated vote here is. Riverscape's been awesome assisting us in the development of Bicentennial Park. We had the land acquisition funds set aside to be able to acquire property for Bicentennial Park. Lindquist property was supposed to be acquired at about $30,000. Riverscape has taken less than that to be able to acquire additional properties. So right now, we're less than that by half. And depending on what happens here in the next couple of weeks, we could be less than that. So it's gone very well, and Riverscape's been a great partner. But now it's time to wrap it up, and it's time to lock up that deal. So I'll be seeking a vote of approval to purchase what used to be the Lindquist property from Riverscape with the remaining land acquisition funds.
So seeking a motion to acquire the Lindquist/now Riverscape property using the remaining funds in the land acquisition.
If anybody has question of where it's at, I forgot to have maps with parcel numbers, so should have handed those out first.
Yeah, this is one of the key properties we had talked about that was closer to the main bridge area, so. You can't lick them anymore.
I know. It's frowned upon, isn't it?
Yeah. So the little turquoise area, right?
Yep. Right now, no more than 17,000 some odd dollars, depending on what happens in the next couple weeks. Yep. It could go as low as 5,000, depending on what happens here in the next couple weeks. I don't think so, because the appraised value is much higher than that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you. I apologize. I should have passed that out first. It would have made it a lot more intelligent, but I got ahead of myself, so. Yeah, we've talked about it about 9 or 10 times at 12 meetings, so.
History of that, I believe, that location, I believe, a lot of it, but I don't know. And stories, you know, that you want to go catfish it. River, that was the place to go, but they were all hanging out of it. So then, Riverscape took up the rest.
Yeah. All right, moving on with some more old business. We talked last meeting, and I believe the meeting before, about our barn prices. I've looked at a lot of different comparable rental venues. We've talked for years about our barn rental prices, really all of our rentals. I think our shelter prices are pretty close, and we don't want to price prices that are a ridiculous amount that people can't afford. You know, we're here for a service that, you know, we want the average family, you know, we want everybody to be able to afford. There is a cost associated with being able to say that this facility is just for our group. There's an additional cost for the operation of that facility. Our shelters, I think we're pretty close on our shelter prices. Our camping prices are pretty low. They're lower than about everybody around, but we'll address that later. We'll see how our reservation system goes. We got to get a lot of things up and going. You know, we'll address that later. We have a really nice rental facility at the barn at Fowler Park, and I think, you know, we've made a lot of investment in it. We've made a lot of improvements, and pretty much everybody that's been there agrees. You know, when people ask how much it is, they're blown away by the cost. We don't want to price ourselves out, but it also costs a lot to keep that thing going. So my proposal today is we change that barn to 100 on weekdays and 200 on weekends and holidays. I think that's going to be the best average price for what I've seen, and that's still significantly under a lot of indoor facilities that are 100-person seating, tables, full kitchen, awesome appliances, and full restrooms. You're really hard to find something like that facility for anywhere close to that. So, I'm sorry. 125 on the weekends and 120, I'm sorry. I just start talking, I don't know.
What is it, is it 100 during the week?
90.
90?
Yeah. Any thoughts?
You're proposing 125.
100 and 200. We don't have a ton of weekday rentals. We put AV equipment in there that needs to be tweaked a little bit. It's an awesome resource for businesses that want to use it. Right now is not an awesome time for people, but outside of COVID, we need to advertise that facility more for meeting space during the daytime. Not used tremendously on weekdays, but every single weekend it's used until about dead of winter, and then people kind of dial back a little bit. But right. And that's for the entire day. You can have that from 8 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock at night. So.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. I say that. Also, we talked about holiday rentals and holidays. I used the term in July 4th, Memorial Day weekend. We talked a couple board meetings now about holiday rentals and the aspect from October 15th to May 1st. We've got one caretaker that's there. It's not really fair to that caretaker to say on Christmas morning you've got to worry about a rental. That'd be the only person probably in the county that's working at that point. We'd looked at what does it cost to have a janitorial company come in and take care of that facility for us, take the keys so that nobody has to worry about anybody coming in. You still got to worry about enforcing park rules. You still got to worry about, there's always something to do. There's always duties to have to do, but there's extra duties assigned when that facility is in use. So moving forward, I don't think it behooves us to rent this facility on those major holidays. Christmas morning, on Thanksgiving, that ought to be a time they should be with their families. Otherwise, even if we did pursue the option of a janitorial service, I think it'd probably price people out of it. It's going to be $600 or $700, $800 to have somebody come in and try to take care of it for us, and you still got to run over and you don't know what's going to go on. You still got to run over and take care of it.
So do we need any sort of motion or vote on that, or does that kind of fall under that the offices and the parks are closed on major holidays?
I think a vote of approval right now we do rent that facility on those holidays. So if it's not rented on those holidays from now on, we'll block them out, and moving forward with the new reservation system, we would block those out, seeking the board support.
And what do you constitute major holidays? Just Thanksgiving, Christmas, or do you want us to list any other specific holidays?
Thanksgiving, Christmas. I think listing the county holidays is the easiest.
County holidays?
Yeah. State, county, federal holidays. Whatever is listed on our sheet of days off. October 15th and May 1st.
So it's currently being rented on those days. Is there really a high demand for that?
Employees. We've got our seasonal staff in. I'm sorry?
So if it's currently being rented on those days, is there a high demand for that? Are there a lot of people renting on those holidays?
We do. We do have people that historically have rented, and I'll personally call those individuals. And, I've explained my hesitation in the past here in the last year or two of renting those facilities, and they're really nice people. I don't have any qualms with those individuals renting the facility. They've been great. They've cleaned up the facility. It's nothing personal with any individual. It's just a policy that needs to be set forward 10, 15, 20 years from now, so. Yeah, well, all rentals, I don't, shelter, barn, yeah.
Take a second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you. That will grandfather anybody in. If we have any current rentals, they'll still keep their rental. Moving on to some more bookkeeping type stuff. We've talked about free rentals, talked about those last month. I've talked to several other parks departments. I've looked through all of our books. Most parks rent out free rentals to, or I guess you can call it free rentals, vouchers for school corporation, scouts. Really, those are the main two. After that, I need a streamlined, easy, this is black and white, what are we doing? And I think the easiest way to do that right now is the school corporation, the scouts, and events. Our events are what receives these free rentals, and most of the time it's the barn or shelters, things like that. We work closely with Purdue Extension. If it's our event or we're co-sponsors of the event, anything like that, I've got no problem giving that free rental. We've done a lot of work with different agencies. Soil and Water will come put on a talk or something, and we'll give them the shelter for free to do the talk at the shelter. That's a great opportunity for both parties. No issue with that. It gets a little convoluted from there, so I want to clean that up and make it pretty easy. If somebody calls in, I want Michaela to be able to tell them exactly what our policy is. Really, there's only a couple I had a question about. Full-time staff has always been granted one free rental a year. I don't have a problem with that, but I think the staff member needs to be present. That's the way that all county parks have operated that I've talked to. Uncle Joe from California can't come in and rent it for Daisy for something, the staff member could use the barn for something, but they need to be present. I don't have a problem, if you guys don't have a problem with that policy, one time a year. In that same vein, there's only two other questions I'd had. J.I. Case retirees. J.I. Case built J.I. Case wetlands and had done a tremendous amount of work. They have always gotten a free shelter rental at Hawthorne Park. I don't have an issue. They always have. They got it last year? I believe they still, until last year, got a free rental at Hawthorne. It's at this point, I'm giving it to the board. I don't mind. I just want clear direction at this point of what we're doing. Ruth Dalton, longtime volunteer at the Pioneer Village for a long time, is on the list as a free rental, although I don't think she's gotten one. Has she called for one? She's not had one for a few years now. So at this point, where are we drawing the line, So discussion and new policy. My suggestion is schools, scouts, J.I. Case, retirees, and present full-time staff members, events such as, Purdue Extension, partners and such. I'm trying to think of how to formulate that, or we can carry this into the next board meeting, to think about. I can pass out some more educated materials. That was a lot to try to digest, but. Okay. I was still going through several documents all the way up till today, digging up old rentals and names and things, just making sure I didn't miss something. So I can put that down in, this is the proposed new rental sheet. And we'll pass that, and it'll be easy for us. I can make 1 or 2 phone calls and make sure that anybody that was on the list is okay. And we'll move forward. Yeah. All right, I will present that next meeting. That'll make it a lot easier on our end for being able to get that done. Oh, Brentlinger Shelter. Brentlinger? $50 on the weekend and do what? Not much. There's a lot of weddings out there. Yeah. That one would be one of the few I'd think about. It's very difficult to up one and not the rest. That'd be one I would think about upping a little bit. That is really nice, but several weddings there, and we're hoping to have several weddings at the Labyrinth coming up soon. We've done a lot of work out there as well, but we'll see how that goes. All right, I think that's it finally for the old business.
Moving on to new business then.
Okay,
Thanks to you.
before I forget, you have dates for next year. Does anybody have any terrible issue with the dates presented for next year's board meeting dates? That I can't guarantee, but the people I've talked to so far, you'll be an interim appointee until you're appointed.
Gotcha. Understood.
That is my understanding.
You will not be relieved of your duties.
You will not be relieved. You have to show up still. If you're still interested, you have to show up still. I have documentation. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Picture of my grandpa being sworn in.
Well, you're due in 22. So you were sworn in.
That's when they checked you out.
I need a vote to approve these dates if everybody's good with them.
Second? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Not opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on. I was hoping to have a contract, or I was actually hoping not to have a contract because it wouldn't be that much, but we'll see how much Prairie Creek's septic comes up to tomorrow or so. If it becomes a substantial amount, you may have an email from me. Hopefully it's not substantial. It's $4,000 or $5,000 or less, or we won't have to worry too much about it. If it's very substantial, I'll send out an email and see what we can get done. So, moving on from that, the last thing I have in new business, let's see here. Did I miss something? I did miss something somewhere. New business, 2 more things. I did miss something. Did everybody get the conservation easement in your email? Wanted to at least make sure everybody gets the conservation easement. Ruble Park. That is years worth of work in the making. We talked about it in May, was it?
Oh, July or August.
Oh, okay. Well, it was later than I thought. So maybe July or so that we'd talked about it, and then the board voted to move on with the easement at Ruble Park. These are the nuts and bolts to everything that I described in that easement. We've went back and forth on a few things in this easement, but this is very close. So if anybody has any thoughts, concerns, questions about this, it's pretty straightforward, and definitely I'm very happy with it. It's gonna solve our year's worth of work here, and it's the original intent of the park in the first place. It'll always be a park. It'll always be within the intent of exactly what we're doing, and I don't see an issue with it. Michael Wright's still helping me through this and looking over it, and President Fisher will be highly involved with signing a bunch of papers, hopefully very soon. So,
This doesn't prohibit the trails.
no. Yeah, no, you can build new trails, you can maintain trails. Eddie and I have looked at several times trying to create a new wetland in a spot that already wants to kind of be a wetland, you know, through some permitting issues and things out there, whether or not they would let us do that. You know, it may be 10 years from now before we got to that, but that was a specific question I'd brought up to them on the phone the other day. They said, yeah, we could still do that. We'd want to pursue that through written permission first, but still could do that. Right. 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 You just can't sell it. It can never not be a park. Mm-hmm. That's what I understand. Yep.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So that was, 6 or 7 years ago at this point. We are wrapping it up now, but that appropriation died years ago. Those funds were not encumbered. Even if they were, they'd have died that year. So it's my understanding those funds would go to the general fund, and if we would like to, as a board, go back and ask for funds, then we could do so, but no. No. Well, I mean, no. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, it'll be months before we ever see any money from this transaction, and then we can talk. Okay. But yeah, we could start that conversation, and there's a lot of Yeah.
I'm too long to draft a letter.
Okay. Okay. Well, does anybody have any issue with the easement? No, that was in there, for anybody that doesn't know, one of these days, if we ever get the park built and open, we were gonna have a bow-only hunting program out there, youth hunting program, had ideas of a veterans hunt, things like that. Through conversation with DNR, there's a exclusion that they can put on this to omit that portion. So, and once they put that in there, it'd be in perpetuity. So, we'd be in good shape on that portion. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think so. No, I feel like I've had a good relationship with commissioners and council, and I think we've done very well. Times are tough right now, and our department, I think, has done pretty well in showing our value in the community for our asset to keep people in this community, to move to this community, and I think everybody sees that value in Parks and Rec. So that's a huge step in a community to see the value in the first place of Parks and Recreation.
You do this hours on your kid here every now and then. Maybe I would put that out there as well.
Yeah, I'm appreciative for what everybody's done to this point. Commissioners, council, everybody's been great, and we've gotten a lot accomplished. So, if nobody's got any questions on the conservation easement, if anybody's got any questions, give me a call. We've got several things to hash out between Mr. Wright and the DNR and myself, and I don't know how long that's going to take before I give you a call and see how we proceed from there. But we'll be working on that. Moving on to my last section here, a vote I will seek for 2 different purchases in Bicentennial Park. I sent Vice President a couple parcels.
Yes.
And would you like to go on with those? We've got opportunity in Bicentennial Park. We said that we may be able to give Riverscape a little bit less for the Linquist property, depending on how things go. These couple things being these parcels that we're getting ready to mention. These are not deals that are done yet. These are deals we're still working on. But seeking board approval to move forward with these parcels and hopefully purchase these parcels within the next couple weeks. It's January 1st soon, but both parcels or all parcels involved being at the average of 2 appraisals. So,
Yeah, so the time sensitiveness to this is that at the end of the year, we lose our money. So we want to kind of get something in our minutes that reflects that we are giving, Adam approval to negotiate with these at the appraised prices, because that's our limit. Now, since I'm running the meeting, can I do the motion with the? Okay. Well, do we need the parcel numbers for the?
I think it'd be best.
The title company.
Yeah.
The title company uses our minutes to.
Yeah.
So bear with me while I read through a bunch of numbers. The first is approval to purchase parcel 84-06-28-109-002.000-021 in Dresser at the average of 2 riverfront appraisals. It is 1 parcel, 2 lot. I told you it was a lot of numbers. Yeah. Can I forward you the numbers?
Yeah, well, I'll get them
forward
to you.
Sorry. I'm auctioneering it here. Second? All right, all in favor? Opposed? Okay. Our second one is approval to purchase parcel 84-06-208-107-006.000-021 and all associated parcels with that name in Dresser for the average of the 2 interior appraisals, because it's different. One's riverfront, one interior prices. All right, second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There you go.
Thank you. Appreciate it. That's been a lot of work. I appreciate Abby being on the committee. Abby and Dana were on the committee, and then Dana disliked it so much she skipped out of state. So I appreciate Abby. We talk probably a couple times a week at least about property acquisition and parks and all kinds of stuff. So appreciate the hard work. Hopefully we'll get it wrapped up here in the next couple of weeks, whether
Has
we
to
like
be.
it or not. So hopefully I'll be calling President Fisher to wrap that up here in the next week or so. And we'll be closing on a property tomorrow, I believe. So, do what? Okay. Okay. Let me write that down right now. All right. I think that's all I have for new business.
All right. Motion to adjourn. All right.
Thank you very much. I
you.
appreciate it. Yes.
Do what?